live on the air, so don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here.
Oh, nobody's.
You're not a cop.
No, you're.
Think I don't love my daughter or some shit, like you're holier than now or something?
There is no investigation.
What's up? Live from the MBD Production Studios.
What's
You're
happening?
in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has.
is not, really?
This
Wow,
young man.
It is to me.
Long time no see. I hope everybody's had a fantastic Labor Day weekend. As the Labor Day weekend comes to an end, summer is over, and now apparently you can't wear white anymore. I've only heard of such things. I don't know if that's true. Anyway, if you wear white pants after Labor Day, God bless you. I'm with you. I'm fine with it. I got no issues. Otis is, I would say, probably about 85%, close to 90% better. He's doing great. He's bouncing back. He is responding to his medication. We are doing great. So thank you guys for all the thoughts and prayers and the kind words. It means a whole lot. Okay, let me see here. Who we got here? We got. So great to see you guys. Yeah, so we're feeling better. We're back to it. And like I said, I haven't been around a lot lately, but I'm here now. And we'll go from there anyway. So I've been paying attention a little bit to the goings on in the Summer Wells case. And while this case is infuriating for most people, both really on either side of the aisle at this point, and as law enforcement continues to leave a lot of speculation and doubt out there, which, by the way, I don't think that they're above criticism when it comes to, it was very disappointing at the 2-year anniversary mark that there was no press conference. That to me was disappointing. And I think, I just think that there should have been. Now, that's just my personal opinion, and who gives a monkey's butt? But that's just how I feel about it. I think that there should have been better communication, especially when you have something as much as you just have a lot of, speculation and a lot of like innuendo and so on and so on and so on and so on. So anyway, now Tim Mullen, the media manager, and I know there are people going, well, what does this have to do with Summer? I'm going to tell you what it has to do with Summer. And if you want some cold, hard facts, you're going to get some cold, hard facts here, because I think that they need to be addressed. I think that Tim needs to be addressed, put in his place, told that he's, for some reason that, I'm starting to kind of catch on to here, there's a reason why this guy's controlling what the Wells say, what they want to say, or anything. I don't know what the hell Tim Mullens is up to, but I do want to address him a little bit here. Now, if you look on the Find Summer Wells Facebook page that was started by Tim Mullen, you will see kind of just some odd posts, and I know a lot of you have seen this and seen some of these, and Don's picture, and just Dukes of Hazzard, haha, funny, that kind of stuff. I found this one interesting. I miss hugging my children so much. That's a quote from Don Wells, according to our media manager, our pipeline, folks, to the Wells. This is our pipeline. All right? This is him. I want to talk about Tim's obsession with an Amber Alert family. Now, I would like to just start off by saying that I don't know, once again, what happened to Summer Wells. I only have my suspicions, and that's it. I have no proof to show you. But here's where it comes in. And now this right here is from SaveTheChildren.org. And you can find this information on SaveTheChildren.org. Okay. And there are myths and facts. And what Tim is doing, Tim is basically saying that we don't know what happened to her, but it has something to do with organ harvesting, child trafficking, that sort of thing. He's very aware of those things now. I don't know if he had ever been before, but this is what he does. This is how he is. Okay, he thinks that it's okay for him to speculate. He thinks it's okay for him to speculate on the Find Summer Wells Facebook official page. But damn any of us if we have any sort of opinion about anything. But I'm going to tell you right now that you're so wrong and so far off. Everybody has these misconceptions about child trafficking. I don't know if Summer was this or that. I don't know. But human trafficking is not the same thing as smuggling, which the two terms that are commonly confused. Trafficking, it doesn't require movement across borders. In fact, most of the cases, a child could be trafficked and exploited from their own home. That's a fact. A child could be trafficked and exploited from their own home in the United States. And it's not unheard of. So, okay, there we go. And then if you think about this, often family trafficking occurs in homes where there are additional forms of abuse and neglect. Victims of this crime can be especially invisible because they may be continuing to attend school, church, or other activities, even while being trafficked at home. They come from every region, every ethnic background, and every socioeconomic class. Okay, well, there's that. But we get blasted for speculation about Dawn and Candace. And Dawn and Candace are fine with Tim talking about organ harvesting and child trafficking, apparently. That seems like it's not a bridge too far to talk about. But to suspect the parents of having something to do with the disappearance of their child is totally out of bounds. And I don't know why it's out of bounds. Well, I do know why it's out of bounds, because they don't want to be blamed. Dawn says the other day that they went on TV and they didn't care what people think. They didn't care what people thought about them. Well, that's not true, is it, Dawn? Because Candace was very concerned about what people were going to think about her. Right? I mean, that's not up for debate. Is it? Because that's what happened. And, you know, we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, but and this is a message to Dawn Wells. And if you're watching this somewhere, Dawn, get this message loud and clear. Dawn threatened Mary. He tried to contact her via phone, and when she wouldn't respond, finally she responded via text. And Dawn made it very clear that she will be sorry for trying to tear their family apart even more. That's what he said. So, great, Dawn. Good job. It's a threat, and that's what you did. You know you did it. I saw it. Now, I'm sure that Dawn Wells defenders will be like, but he this, or he that, or he this. And I'm telling you right now, Dawn, you're on notice. Do not contact Mary. Don't contact her. Don't threaten her. Don't do anything. Leave her alone. You threatened Mary because of the show. And yeah, honestly, Dawn, I mean, you know, you're a two-time loser and you're threatening somebody, which is crazy to me. Why would you do that? What is it that you plan on doing? How is it that you're going to make Mary sorry, Dawn? I'm curious. Why would you say that? What are you going to do? Just crazy. Just crazy. Leave her alone. You've already done enough damage. You've already done enough damage. Says here, wait, Mary was threatened by Dawn. Yes, she was. And those facts aren't disputed. That's what happened. He did it. There you go. So, Dawn, there you are, buddy. I just wanted to make that, and you know, we can talk more about it later. But that's what happened. He threatened her. Dirty. It's just rotten. Okay, it's rotten. But she said bad things. What? So Dawn's allowed to talk insanely crazy about people. Insanely crazy about people. He's allowed to do that, and everybody's okay with it. But I'm sure at some point somebody's going to say to me, "Hey, Josh, what are you doing? What about, Mary? Are you not protecting Mary?" Protecting Mary? Of course. That's why I'm telling everybody right now that Dawn threatened her. And I wouldn't take a threat from Dawn lightly. That's just my opinion. Mary has every right to speak and go where she wants. She absolutely does. And you know, Dawn's more concerned about what these victims that can talk are saying and than the ones that can't. All right. He's got a problem there. So Kathy K, it was through text message. Look, it's being taken care of and it's being, you know, I don't want to get into all that. And I don't really want to get into exactly what it said, but rest assured that it was a threat. There's no doubt in my mind. And Dawn, by the way, I was just wondering if Dawn, if you're here, I am very curious as to why you would do that. Why you think that would be okay? Nobody was contacting you. We weren't doing anything other than letting them speak on how they felt. And then you thought it'd be a good idea. By the way, Rhonda talking to us was not Mary's idea. And it's not Mary's fault, Dawn, that your own dad, dementia or not, thinks that you had something to do with Summer going missing. How's that Mary's fault? Because she told everybody? Okay, fine. Be mad at her for that. Fair enough. But be mad at your own dad who told the FBI that you had been telling people that Candace had did something with Summer so your daddy would be okay with you just in case he needed to wire you a little bit of money. Okay? Daddy's little boy. That's what that is, okay? It's not Mary's fault that your own father, the apple of his eye, he thinks that you did something to Summer. How's that Mary's fault? How is that Mary's fault? And Tim, I'm coming back to you here in a second. But Dawn goes on, and all Dawn wants to do is blame victims. That's all he wants. He admitted what he did. She was, by the way, when Rhonda spoke with us, Rhonda was 12. Dawn was 19. Now, Dawn may not remember it. I don't know if he does or not. Just because he doesn't remember, that's not a defense. That's just not a defense. And I just, I loathe you. You're a coward who ducks every real question. You had no interest, Dawn, in ever finding your daughter. I don't care what you say. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. But also the fact of the matter is, from eyewitnesses at the scene when it happened, that you and Candace both had your phone so far up your ass chatting on it while the boys were off doing something else. You weren't comforting your children. You weren't hugging your wife. You weren't telling everybody everything's going to be okay. We're going to find her. You were walking around with your head down in your phone, Candace playing with her hat, not wanting to talk to the police. And that's the truth. And that's just how it is. I can't help that. That's what happened, but it is. There was no comforting. There was no panic, no fear, no bawling. There was nothing. There was nothing like that. How is that possible? I have no idea. But it's so weird. Just, what are you doing? Walking around with your phone. Your phone. You're not next to your wife. You're not holding your kids. Why weren't the kids terrified? There's somebody out there stealing children from your home, and you're not comforting your children who are still there. You're walking around with your phone, texting who knows who about what, God knows what. Okay. And I've heard you talk lately and you sound like you're on the edge, and I don't care. I really don't, because now you're threatening people that you have victimized. And whether there are people out there that don't believe that you victimized people or not, well, he has. There's police reports to prove it. I believe you've also, and let's just talk facts. I believe that you failed your polygraph test at least twice. I know you failed your piss test. I know you did. And I know you failed the polygraphs. Not that that matters, but you did fail them. You didn't pass anything. That's what he thinks. So, Don, explain to me, or just the world. How about the world? Not even me. You don't owe me anything. You know that. You know you don't have to tell me a thing. Ever. I'm nobody. I am a nobody, okay? But why don't you tell the world why your wife waited 13 days, almost 2 weeks, to give her eulogy? Why? How? Why did she wait that long? I don't think that we'll ever have a good answer for that. We'll have a bad answer for it and an answer that we'll understand, but it's not going to be a good one. Story says, tell us about Mullen like only you can, Josh. Well, don't worry. We'll get back to him. Donnie looked creepy even as a kid. Yeah, I mean, I think that has more to do with we kind of know who he is. And so I get it. Rap Track Gangsta 222. I love the lab. Thank you, Josh. Thank you guys for your continued support of this channel. Lori says, no one gives Polly's 2 or 3 times just for them to try and beat it. No, but if they're under the influence or suspected to be under the influence or possibly too much stress, then they will. They would. That I believe is true. But But anyway, so Dawn, you're on notice. You threatened Mary, and don't pretend that you didn't. And I'm sure that you'll go on somebody's show and you'll try to make it seem like that's not what you did, but it is what you did. That was a threat, and there was nothing more than that, and nothing less either. It's a serious. What you did is a crime. It is a crime. You can't threaten people, especially somebody who has filed police reports on you for doing things that you're not supposed to do. Dawn, that's what I'm saying. Like this is what we're talking about. I hope you can press charges too, Mary, because you deserve to be able to. You deserve to be able to. Lisa Lee says, Dawn said him and Candace kept falling asleep during their test. Yeah. Brandy Neal says you're not even supposed to take antidepressants. No alcohol, not even caffeine for a poly. And guess what? I have it on good authority that you failed your drug test, which is part of the reason why the kids were taken, but not the whole reason. But once again, Don came up with and I give him credit. This was the best thing that he could have said. The best thing that he could have said was, look, it's just dangerous at my house. It's so dangerous at my house. I can't have my children here. The only reason it's dangerous at your house is because of you psycho. I've read the police reports. I've read almost every police report that's ever been filled out against you. You have a history of grabbing women by the throat. You do. It's kind of your thing. So, even Candace has done it. Even Candace has written a report that says that. Trust me, Don, you're not, I don't know who, you do fool some people, but anyway, Don threatened Mary, and there you go. Because, he's a really, really, just what a jerk off. He said he lost his mind in the letter from jail. Did he ever find it? I don't know if he found it. All right, back to Creepy McCreeperson, Tim Mullens, okay? Tim Mullens, for some reason, he's posting things like, this is the one that really gets to me. I find this one super weird. And by the way, showing us a picture of Dawn in 1972 really isn't going to help us find Summer. What do you mean the resemblance is uncanny? That's her dad. I mean, how stupid can you be? We get it. Like, they're blood related. Of course. They share DNA. Yeah, trust me, I share DNA with people I don't want to. I was born into a family that, wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire. I get it. But I look like my parents too, like most people do. You dumb. Doesn't he look like some? Well, yeah, dude, of course. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, this is the stupidest thing. My God. So this is the one that bothers me. 3 days ago, and I've heard, and I can't confirm this. I cannot confirm this, but I'll just say it. That I think that Dawn had maybe asked Tim to take this down. And Tim didn't, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But that's just what I've heard. It wouldn't surprise me. And Don, if I were you, I can't believe that you would just let him do this. But I don't know. We have no idea how Summer Wells got off the property. What we want to know is who got her next. First of all, I don't even know what the hell that means. And second of all, is this a stock photo, or did Tim actually take this photo? Is this something that Tim did? Like, did he? So it's just the oddest little photo. Like, did he find this on some trafficking, fight trafficking dot whatever, or it makes me wonder, Don, why you lay down to Tim the way that you do. I wonder that. What is it that Tim has on Dawn and Candace to where they don't tell him to go shut this all down and fly a kite? What is it that you have on them? What is it? Got to be something, because I'll tell you what, if you were talking about my child this way, I'd beat the hell out of you. You would never talk about my child publicly again on any sort of forum, post, nothing, never again, ever. We've met some of the nicest people who are perfected snoops, gossip, rumor mongers, self-promoters, negative seed planners, backstabbers, etc. But sure, they've mastered the art of being nice people, manipulation, and con jobbers. And the deceitful are just part of the package that Amber Alert families have to deal with. Now, I'm going to tie this in. And folks, just hang with me here. I'm telling you, hang with me, because I'm going to tie this Amber Alert family bull crap up into a little bow, and I'm going to see if Tim has anywhere that I can shove it for him, okay? But let's see. It's about Summer Wells, not the endless dissecting, eating, and digesting of Dawn Candace Wells. It's Dawn and Candace Wells. Rumors and outright lies about Dawn or Candace don't need to be cleared up. They need sent straight to the septic tank. He does this on purpose. The septic tank. He does this on purpose. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? You're that much of an asshole. Like you think that's clever? Like that's funny? Like the septic tank that Dawn told his father that Candace put her in, that septic tank. Tim, you sicko, you weirdo. You do this on purpose. You love to do that. It gets your jollies because this is the first time in your life that anybody's ever paid any attention to you. And to be fair, Tim, you would say the same thing about me, but it's actually not. It's just not. I mean, I've been broadcasting for some time, but I would never do that. It's kind of a really nasty thing to do. You know what you did. You know what you're doing. You're not an idiot. I mean, you are an idiot, but like you know what you're doing. Behind the scenes, these ravens of niceness are vultures of the vulnerable. Thank you for those praying to God, the Lord Jesus Christ. He truly is the ever consistent friend and comforter of those who believe and live accordingly. The Wells family honors in the church the Sabbath as Saturday. And it has been 810 days since they lost their daughter and sister, Summer Moon Utah Wells. Please remember the parents, the boys, and Summer in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, so enough of that. Let's move away from all that. According to Amber Alert data, who is it that most commonly abducts children? It's usually the parents. In just over 43% of cases, the father is the perpetrator. And in nearly a quarter of the cases, the mother's the kidnapper. That brings that out to a staggering 68%. But you know what? Let's just call it 7 out of 10. Amber Alerts are issued. Amber Alerts issued is because of the mother and father 7 out of 10 times. 7 out of 10 times. There's no such thing as an Amber Alert family. The Amber Alert only extends to the missing child, and rightfully so. Tim, you're an idiot. Dawn and Candace are suspects in the disappearance of their child. 7 out of 10 Amber Alerts issued are because of an abduction from the parents. 43% of the time, it's the father, and at 25% is the mother. Combine those and you have 7 out of 10. But wait a minute. Then you have friends of the family, distant relatives, not even distant relatives, just relatives in general. So on and so on. Well, like an Amber Alert family, that's why there's no such thing. Tim, you are out of your league when it comes to talking about things like this because you're a QAnon weirdo. You are a red-blooded American who thinks that the United States is falling apart because of communism. And, you play backgammon by yourself. I don't know what it is that you do, but there's some weirdness going on there. And by the way, tell Don, your best friend, who apparently is so scared of you that he won't tell you to take down a post that you wrote that insinuated that either his child was being trafficked for organ harvesting or, essaying or whatever. Tell him to shut up and not to threaten his past victims. Okay, so, you're an idiot. You really are. Like, no, it's just. True Cowgirl says, hashtag support Mary Hartman. Mary is, it's so terrible. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. One-Eyed Flo. Mary Hartman strong. Hey, look. It's just so like, according to Don, he's from Vietnam. Yeah, I think he meant that he fought in Vietnam. I don't think he meant that he was from Vietnam. Maybe he is from Vietnam. I don't know. Is he? It's possible. It's totally possible. I don't know if he is or not. Nor do I care, by the way. Nor do I care. I don't care where he's from. It's bananas. What's going on here? Let me see. Where's that? So, why is there no protection for Amber Alert families? Because the Amber Alerts, 70% of the time, are issued because of the families. You absolute buffoon. That's me being nice. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You just talk to talk. You remind me of the guy that wore the horns at the White House. I don't even know what you have. What is it that you're involved with here, Tim? Why is Dawn scared of you? I want to know that. Why does Dawn let you just run over everything and say the most asinine stuff? Why? Why does he do that? Dawn, do you have an answer for that? You'll threaten Mary, but you won't threaten somebody who's talking about your child being, her organs being harvested? That's okay. That's fine. There's no problems there. Oh, but oh God, please don't ever mention that Dawn and Candace may have something to do with this. Human trafficking and human smuggling are different. When you heard the detective say that he doesn't believe that she had been trafficked out of the area, that doesn't mean that there wasn't trafficking going on. But that also doesn't mean that had any reason to do with her going missing. That could just be, I'm not saying that she was or she wasn't. I don't know. But they did say trafficked out of the area, which is smuggling. There's a difference. It's not the same. If you know anything about human trafficking, fathers, basically, they'll show up to malls, they'll show up to concerts, they'll show up to hotels. That's exactly how it works. And is it disgusting? Yes. Is it the facts? Yes. So when I hear the lead detective say there's nothing to suggest that she was trafficked out of the area, well, that's just exactly what that means. He doesn't believe that she was trafficked out of the area. He didn't say that it never happened. So I find that interesting as well. I certainly find that interesting. Once again, why are you scared of Tim? Tim, why did you download Don's phone? Tim, why do they call you the Sandman? Hey, Tim, what's in it for you? What's in it for you? Let me guess. It's just some magnanimous gesture, just out of the goodness of your heart that you want to help Dawn and Candace Wells, just because your heart bleeds for them. I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I think there's more to it. I don't know what. I just, there's just more to it. Tim, Tim, did you ask people to submit tips to the Summer Wells website and that you would filter through them and give them to law enforcement? Why'd you do that? What was the point of that? Personally, I think you should be charged for that. Like you want everybody else to be charged for harassing the family. I don't harass them. Dawn freely calls me and cusses me out all the time. Like I care. I don't care. But, trafficking is not it's not the selling of somebody over borders. I mean, local trafficking, trafficking covers a wide variety of crimes of the sexual nature when it comes to selling. That's what it is. It's not anything like, it's not like in the movie like Taken where, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but that's just not really the way it works. How much trouble can Don get in threatening a victim? Well, I mean, he's a 2-time loser, so hopefully a lot. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Probably a lot. I mean, for somebody with Don's criminal background that stretches from California to, I'd say probably the tip of Maine. I mean, probably a lot. Treats for lovely Otis. He's doing great. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's certainly not like that. Like I said, I'm not saying that those kind of things don't happen, but it's typically not the way it works. Don is certainly on probation, and he absolutely threatened Mary. He did. He just did. I don't know how what else to say about it. But yeah, he did. And while I'm here, I wanted to say, and I haven't said this, Nana's Angels, to her subscribers, supporters, friends, family, we lost a good one, and I appreciate everything that she did for this case. And I believe that she has made an impact. I've listened to her channel many times. And she wasn't fooled. So God bless you. You are, you were just a good one, and, I'm sorry that I didn't say something sooner. So just all class. But yeah, Don could get in a lot of trouble potentially for it. And look, he deserves to. Every single move that he makes seems criminal at this point, folks. I don't know why. Nana was amazing. Yeah, she was awesome. I mean, I believe she did too. Calgal says, I usually try not to pay attention to anything, any of the crazy Ben Hill Road weirdos, including their Meteor manager, but I do pay attention to you, Josh. You tell it like it is. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Calgal. Sometimes we can't all get sucked up in the hoopla of this or that or the neighbors. And one thing I also want to say is I want to reiterate this because I've been getting this a lot as well. Why wouldn't they, if an accident happened, and like I said, my thought has always been, because, I'm a nice guy and I don't like to think poorly of people, just kidding, that an accident did happen and they freaked out and they covered it up. Now, am I right? I don't know, probably not. But people say, well, if that really happened, and Don says this too, why wouldn't we call the police? I want to be very specific about the place that they lived. They don't like cops. They deal with it themselves. That's a backwoods thing, around those parts, specifically with those people. And they don't call the cops. They hate the law. Hate the law. And when I say hate, I mean despise it with every fiber of their being. They hate the law. Why would they? So they could get in trouble? They would never call the law if something happened. Never. Never. You think Candace is dialing 911? Only when she's in trouble. Only when Dawn's after her. That's when she calls. Fair enough. And, she should. I heard it. I heard the phone call. That's when Candace calls the cops. Dawn doesn't ever. I don't even know. I don't know. Has Don ever called the cops before? I would guess probably. I think he did that day, but before that, I doubt that he'd ever called the cops before. I seriously wonder that sometimes. Like, has he called the cops before? Like before that, has he ever called the cops on anybody? Has he ever turned anything in? He's talked to a lot of cops. He's talked to more cops than DA. But did he call? I mean, before that, when was the last time Don called the cops? Yeah, I'm not going to say what I heard was said on there, but I heard panic and I heard distress, and it sounded like Don was the cause of that. That's why your house wasn't safe, Don. You're the reason that people aren't safe around you, because you think you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, to whoever you want. And you've gotten away with it for the most part, like now. But now that you're really being called out on it and you're so worried. By the way, and I heard your phone calls, you always want to know, what's Jeannie doing? What's she going to do? And then you're like, well, I hope we can find Summer. Yeah, but what Jeannie, it's just trying to ruin my life. Bro, your life is ruined. You lost all your kids, but you don't see it that way. You don't see it that way. I don't know why you don't see it that way, but you certainly should. Nine total children, 0 in their custody, 1 child outstanding. It speaks for itself. I mean, we can beat a dead horse and look, we can, we will, we have. But facts are facts. They just are. Once again, Tim, just so you know, according to Amber Alert data, and that's from amberalert.gov, G-O-V. It's a government website. I'm sure if you go on there, make sure to put a little piece of duct tape over your over your little camera there. That way, Homeland Security, Big Brother doesn't scan you out and show up and take your buffalo rifle or whatever the hell it is that you do in your spare time when you're not interjecting. That's another thing, man. I always come back. I always forget about this. This is the same weirdo that reached out to Brandy and Tyler. You don't even live in the same state. Not even in the same time zone. Don, or he just saw, go, well, here's another Amber Alert. Well, unfortunately, they weren't an Amber Alert family and should have been an Amber Alert family. But he was there to help another Amber Alert family. Oh, let's go. Yeah. I hate you, Tim. I really do. I just do. There's just nothing about you that is redeeming. It's weird. Yeah, I kind of do remember that vaguely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. They certainly are from Idaho, and it has absolutely no look. So Tim getting involved with Don and Candace because he's a local. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. But him reaching out to somebody across the country. How'd you find out about that, Tim? Were you watching YouTube? I know you didn't see it on the Idaho news. Where'd you see it at, Tim? Where'd you hear it from? YouTube. Wow, it seems like YouTube may get the message out there. You just don't like what message it is. Just because the message is out there, the narrative writes itself. I don't write the narrative. People don't write the narratives. It is what it is. It looks how it looks. Am I wrong there? Just because you don't like the narrative doesn't mean that you get to change it. You can try, but it doesn't work. Oh, yes. And for the people that may be new to this case, and I'm sure Tim won't bring that up, Tim absolutely reached out to Brandy Neal. Brandy then turned to me and said, hey, I don't want this guy anywhere near me. And we went over this publicly before, and then he issues a statement. I was just trying to help. I just wanted to help because I make websites that suck. They suck so bad. They're all glitchy and Mavis Beacony and it's just like, what the hell are you doing? Don, why are you scared of Tim? Why are you scared of him? What does he have on you? Did he reach out to Don and Candace or other? There's some mystery surrounding that, like how they became buds, and I don't really know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know why he inserted himself. I am curious though, like what? Yeah, the real rock and roll. I don't know. I have no idea. I just think that, can I get clarification? Did Don say? I'm not saying that because Don lies a lot, like he's an incessant liar. But did Don ask Tim to take down a certain post? Did he say that on somebody's show and then it never happened? Was that what was said? Because if Don says that, I don't believe that he ever even asked him. But did Don say that? I don't know. Curious about that. Oh, okay. So he did. He did say it. Cool. So I'll bet you, first of all, I'll bet you that never happened. And second of all, I don't think Tim would take it down anyway. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. Yeah, he probably, because that post, and I believe it was the who got her next post. I believe that was the post that we're referring to here. But I think that's the one where he's like, was saying, yeah, I asked him to take it down. But, you know, if Tim works for the CIA, Lisa, we're screwed. Communism will be on the rise. All the JFK secrets will be spilled. Vaccines will be no more at all. Even polio, none of that stuff. What else? Everybody's gonna have to wear just get the. Tim doesn't work for the CIA. Okay, he just doesn't. God, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. Oh my God. Can you imagine Tim? Well, Don, you're a red-blooded American, and you have rights as an Amber Alert daddy, and you should be able to do whatever you want, and nobody criticize you because you're an Amber Alert daddy. You're an Amber Alert daddy, and you're an Amber Alert family, and I tell you that. I just cannot believe some of these backstabbing heathens who just tell us, that Jesus isn't the way, the truth, and the light. Nobody comes to the Father but through him. And we know that, Don. You and I, we've been to church. We sat in them pews together, brother, even though we don't even worship the same God. But the Sabbath's on Saturday, even though 90% of the world goes on Sunday. He's an Amber Alert daddy. And you should have all the Amber Alert daddy stuff that you can handle. And, because you're an Amber Alert daddy. Idiot. It's like Amber Alert fan. I want Tim to get a tramp stamp that says Amber Alert family advocate. I'll pay for it. Tim, reach out to me. I'll put a credit card on file. I want you to get that tramp stamp. Amber Alert family advocate. Well, I need to buy my daddy. He's an Amber Alert daddy. Oh boy, he's just a Amber Alert daddies. The Amber Alert families. And I just tell you, my heart just breaks for you and Candace. Oh, yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, about Tim. Yeah. Donnie, even though you stole those women's panties, you're still an Amber Alert daddy. It's just like... He's an Amber Alert daddy, and... It's it's beautiful. Even though Candace busted your eardrum, you guys are still equally yoked in the eyes of God. Oh my God. He's so stupid. It's like, yeah. There's no such thing as an Amber Alert family, Tim. Your daddy. You're my Amber Alert daddy. Shut up.
We're live on the air, so don't say any F's and stuff.
Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here.
Oh, nobody's.
You're not a cop.
No, you're.
Think I don't love my daughter or some shit, like you're holier than now or something?
There is no investigation.
Live from the MBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has.
is not, really?
This
Wow,
young man.
It is to me.